ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and fellow citizens. Today, I stand before you to discuss one of the most critical challenges of our time, climate change. It is not just an environmental issue, it is a global crisis that affects every one of us, regardless of age, gender, or nationality. Climate change is not a problem for future generations, it is a problem we face right now, and we must act decisively to address it. Climate change, driven primarily by human activities, is causing long-term shifts in weather patterns, temperature extremes, and environmental conditions. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes release greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, creating a thick blanket that traps heat and leads to global warming. The consequences of climate change are severe and far-reaching. Rising temperatures. Our world is getting hotter. Heat waves have become more frequent and prolonged, affecting our health, agriculture, and energy demands. Melting ice and rising sea levels. The polar ice caps and glaciers are melting at an alarming rate, causing sea levels to rise. Coastal communities are experiencing more frequent flooding and erosion. Ocean acidification. Oceans are absorbing excess CO2 from the atmosphere, causing them to become more acidic. This threatens marine ecosystems, including coral reefs and fisheries. Biodiversity loss. Climate change is disrupting habitats and ecosystems, leading to the extinction of many species. Health impacts. Heat-related illnesses are on the rise, and the spread of diseases is facilitated by changing climate conditions. Reduced food and water security also pose a significant threat. So, what can we do to address this crisis? Transition to renewable energy. We must reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and embrace clean energy sources like solar, wind, and hydropower. Investing in renewable energy not only reduces emissions but also creates jobs and promotes economic growth. Energy efficiency. Improving energy efficiency in our industries, transportation, and buildings can significantly reduce our carbon footprint while saving us money in the long run. Reforestation and sustainable land use. Protecting our forests and adopting sustainable agricultural practices are crucial in capturing and storing carbon, thus reducing emissions. International cooperation. Climate change is a global challenge that knows no borders. We must work together on a global scale, as we have seen in the Paris Agreement, to set targets and strategies for emission reduction. Public awareness and advocacy. Each one of us can contribute by making sustainable choices in our daily lives and advocating for climate action. Our collective voice can drive policy changes and push for the transformation we need. In conclusion, climate change is a crisis that demands our attention, our commitment, and our action. We have the knowledge and technology to mitigate its impacts, but we must act swiftly and decisively. Climate change is not a burden, it is an opportunity to create a better, more sustainable world for ourselves and for future generations. Let us remember that we are stewards of this planet, and we have a moral duty to protect it. The time for action is now, and together, we can address climate change and secure a brighter, more sustainable future for all. Thank you. Climate change. Global crisis. Environmental issue. greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, CO2, fossil fuels, deforestation, industrial processes, global warming, consequences, rising temperatures, heat waves, polar ice caps, glaciers, sea levels, ocean acidification, biodiversity loss, health impacts, renewable energy, solar, wind, and hydropower, energy efficiency, reforestation, sustainable land use, international cooperation, Paris Agreement, public awareness, advocacy, emission reduction, carbon footprint, sustainability, economic growth, stewards of the planet, moral duty, sustainable choices, transformation, mitigate, resilient, ecological systems, atmospheric conditions, erosion, coral reefs, energy demands, heat-related illnesses, vector-borne diseases, climate action, carbon sink, ecosystems, clean energy sources, economic impact, sustainable future.